KeepTradeCut is one of the most popular Dynasty fantasy football resources in terms of players going to evaluate their trades, look at rankings, things like that, and especially with new Dynasty players, but even with some seasoned Dynasty players, KeepTradeCut becomes a sort of a gospel for them in terms of how they're valuing players. And really, KeepTradeCut's not exactly our favorite, and it's not because you can't use it. We're going to tell you today how you can use KeepTradeCut to completely dominate your Dynasty leagues, especially if you're playing with new guys, especially if you're playing with players that actually believe in the system that is KeepTradeCut. We'll tell you its flaws. We're going to tell you how to dominate your leagues using it, though, and how we like to use KeepTradeCut the best. So make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel to get all kinds of Dynasty content coming out every single week. Make sure you check out our locals page. You'll get access to our Discord, all kinds of exclusive member content stuff. We got all kinds of stuff going on over there. And let's get into it. So let's talk about the flaws with KeepTradeCut, because I got into this discussion with some people on our Twitter page. I think it was within the last month where you know what? It was when Simon got on Twitter and Simon said, hey, does anybody still use KeepTradeCut? Which he was being sarcastic, but he was advertising our ADP, which is a better use of a tool than a KeepTradeCut. And people were in our comments like, does anybody use it? It's the gold standard. Well, let's talk about that. KeepTradeCut's not exactly the gold standard. First of all, you know what the gold standard is? Like, how would this be the gold standard? KeepTradeCut is a really good idea, but you know what KeepTradeCut was designed to do. I'm trying to find like their mission statement on their website. It's accurate, up-to-date rankings, crowdsourced from the Dynasty. It's supposed to give you market value. Market value is not always gospel. It's not always the gold standard. The problem with KeepTradeCut, a lot of it is in the design, because when you get to those three players you have to keep or trade or cut, a lot of times you're just either A, clicking through that as fast as you can, B, completely skipping it altogether, or C, you don't even know. Like, you're trying to get past it because you want to look at something. So how accurate are those data points? Like, they're using all these data points and they think that I think the biggest mistake, coming from somebody who actually I am a data professional, I work in data, the biggest mistake here that KeepTradeCut is making with how their system operates is a lot of data isn't good. If it's not good data, it doesn't really help you determine anything accurately. No. So you'd much rather have a very small amount of data and have good data. The quality of your data is going to completely influence how accurate and how reliable the determinations that the data is making. So in this case, I think the thought is the more data, the better, because you get all these data points. They like to brag about their data points. They've got almost 8 million data points provided by users like you.
It's because it pops up every single time that you go onto their website. You have to do KeepTradeCut. You know what you do? You just go KeepTradeCut, and you don't even look at the players.
And again, I think any data professional would agree that if it's not good data, then it doesn't really matter how much of it you have. So that's a lot of the problem. And it does do a good job of putting players in their general ranges in terms of where the market's actually valuing them. But a lot of times what happens is you try to use KeepTradeCut to your advantage, and people are like, this is the worst trade-off I've ever had. So you end up looking stupid. You're like, well, then that's not a true indication of what market value is. That happens more often than not. However, there is a way to use KeepTradeCut to your advantage when you're trading with some people. A lot of people will – I love it when I send somebody a trade offer and – they send me back a KeepTradeCut screenshot of why the offer is not fair. I literally, and occasionally, like I'll say, yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I really don't like KeepTradeCut, to evaluate my offers. And they're like, well, you reference it on the show. I'm like, we talk about how bad it is. Do you not listen to what we say about it? But let's talk about how you can use KeepTradeCut to your advantage. So I think the first step in this is going to be to identify players that you are higher on than the market value is higher on. So tell me a little bit of the process you walk through when you're looking for buys on KeepTradeCut, and then how to kind of formulate a deal, how to put together a trade deal. Like what steps do you take to do that?
So let's talk about Dallas Goddard here. Okay, so Dallas Goddard is one of the 6, debatably even 5, elite producing tight ends. And he did not fail to disappoint last season until he got hurt. It was just unfortunate. And he did that on top of Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown producing at a high level. And it's actually funny to think that they didn't start producing, both of them, consistently each week together until Goddard got hurt. So I think going into next season, Goddard's going to be a really good value because everyone's expecting Goddard to take the hit, when in reality, I think A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith are going to take the hit game to game. Dallas Goddard currently is equivalently valued to Pat Freiermuth. Pat Fryermuth is currently equivalent on KeepTradeCut.
Yeah.
Pat Fryermuth is currently equivalent to the 201, the 2023 201. Which in turn means Dallas, you can get, according to KeepTradeCut, you can get Dallas Goddard if you pay the 201.
But this isn't, are these tight end premium calculations?
Yeah.
They are?
Yeah.
Wow. Where? How do you?
Well, I can make sure, but.
How do you turn that on?
I think you have to kind of make some setting changes.
I think they are tight end premium.
Yeah. No, I think that's assumed. But anyways, that being said, tight end premium or not, Dallas Goddard is producing at a much higher level than Pat Fryermuth is.
It's age.
It's truly age.
In that example, it's just age. Looking at Dallas Goddard, a lot of times what's fun to do is if you have an asset that you are looking to move off of that we tell you you need to sell. So who's the guy that we've said that you need to sell? Damian Pierce. Let's go to Damian Pierce. Yeah. So I'm going to type in Damian Pierce on the first box Team 1 gets. Damian Pierce. Players to even trade. All right, let's read through these.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm looking like, okay, who should I target in return for Damian Pierce?
It's funny. Dallas Goddard is one of them.
Dallas Goddard is one of them. The 112. Seriously? Yes. Jahan Dotson? Yes, absolutely. So then
Dotson's debatably a buy.
So then what I'll do is I'll take these KeepTradeCut numbers or these targets and I'll go and send. I'll send a Damian Pierce offer to the Jahan Dotson owner. I'll send a Damian Pierce offer to the Dallas Goddard owner. I'll send a Damian Pierce offer to somebody who has the 112. And I'll kind of explore, what I can get for them. Another example, another running back, Brian Robinson. Looking at what can I get for Brian Robinson if I've got him. I picked him up at like 4th round of rookie drafts last year, and now I want to get somebody for him on a contending team. Now let's see who evens the Brian Robinson trade. DeAndre Hopkins. Okay.
Are you kidding me?
The 205 and the 206 are equivalent to Brian Robinson, where you're going to get somebody like Devonta A-Chain, where you're going to get somebody like, help me out. Who are the other later round? I mean, even wide receivers like Cedric Tillman,
Zay Flowers,
things like that.
Jalen Hyatt, who could actually end up going up draft boards.
He could go up. I'm thinking in terms of running backs,
Tyjae Spears. You already said A-Chain, didn't you?
Yep. There's a ton.
There's a lot of them.
Even Zach Evans, if he ends up sliding.
Sean Tucker
has been sliding down that low recently.
Yep.
So that's just another example. So that's one way to do it. If I have a player that I know is peaking at their value that we need to move off of now, who's somebody bigger that's peaking,
at
their value? Yeah, who's at their value?
Justin
peak right
Fields. I'm kidding.
No, I mean let's look at what.
Well, we can try.
Let's look at what,
because I haven't even seen what he's ranked at.
So
CD, the 101, AJ Brown, Breece Hall. So that's perfectly in tune with our ADP data.
So
that's about what I'd expect. That's not too bad.
So that's good. So then the other way really that you can start to turn this around on people, I think, is when somebody that you know is sending you KeepTradeCut offers, you can type in the person that they're sending you and then identify who, according to KeepTradeCut, they should be selling. So if somebody is higher in your rankings than they are in other people's rankings or on KeepTradeCut, then you look at who you can throw into the deal. You can find the best values on KeepTradeCut to throw into the deal. So let's make an example trade here, Nathan. Let's do like Devonta Smith. So you get Devonta Smith, and pick one more player.
Get a big player. Devonta Smith and Chris Godwin.
Let's do Devonta Smith and Chris Godwin. All right. Thinking about like who you could get back, and first of all, players to even trade. Jamar Chase. Seriously? Jamar Chase. Justin Herbert. Are you kidding me? If somebody uses, this is a perfect example.
Lawrence, Lamar, and Herbert.
If somebody uses KeepTradeCut, then they think that Justin Herbert in a Superflex League is equivalent to Devonta Smith, Chris Godwin, and the 309.
I'll take the elite QB.
Easily. It's not even a question for me. But looking at, let's think of somebody we have as a buy in Dynasty right now. So
we have
Mike Williams. Let's do Mike Williams.
Mike Williams.
Okay, keep going.
Tyler Lockett.
Okay.
And
let's think of give me a running back.
A running back.
Let's do James Conner.
Yes. Yeah, good one. Even Jacobs.
We've still got
Josh
we can still
Joe
keep
Mixon. Kamara.
Joe Mixon's value's tanked. All right, that's where we're stopping. Yeah. Devonta Smith and Chris Godwin, according to KeepTradeCut. Mike Williams, Tyler Lockett, James Conner, and Joe Mixon for those two guys, which I do think that's fairly even. But just the sheer quantity of guys you're getting in those running backs and wide receivers makes me extremely happy. I mean, not to mention Joe Mixon, somebody that you can get extremely cheap right now. Looking at Joe Mixon on KeepTradeCut, when you're trying to even out this value. When I type in Joe Mixon on here, Pat Freiermuth.
He's equivalent to Freiermuth?
Yes, on KeepTradeCut.
Oh my goodness.
It's a perfect place to go when you know that people are being faded for absolutely no reason. Let's look at Trey Lance. I wonder how much he's gone up.
Oh, that's a good one. Trey
Right
Lance
now you can
is one
get
of our
Trey
biggest
Lance
buys.
for Jamison Williams on KeepTradeCut. That is fair.
Go in every single league you're in right now and offer that straight up. Go do it. Please.
That's absurd. I'm sorry. That's crazy.
And here's
these are super flex rankings.
I know some of you are going to go in the comments and you're going to say, okay, well, that's not realistic. This isn't realistic. That is absolutely realistic. You know why? It's because
You live under a rock. Like,
yeah, you can send. We are not playing in leagues where every single person is an NFL GM and super smart. You do. It is not unrealistic to win a ridiculous trade where the other side is kind of being dumb, because that is included in Dynasty football. There are some dumb trades. I have been on the dumb side. I have made stupid trades before. I have been that person. I'm not trying to say I'm above all these other people that make bad trades. We have both done this before. This is how Avery got himself into that one league where he literally has no players left.
shut up.
But I completely destroyed my contending ability in one of my leagues because I made like one or two dumb trades and I lost a ton of value. You can do this with people in your leagues, even people that think they're smart, because usually the people that think they're smart actually end up being the dumb ones. So just make those offers, don't be a lowball person. That being said, that's what I will qualify this with. Don't be a lowball person where you're lowballing everyone all the time, because you will tick some people off. But know who you're playing with and know the people that will utilize KeepTradeCut and know the people that favor players that play on their favorite team.
That's also true.
That's huge.
That's a big thing.
That is very huge.
I mean, people, a lot of time on Sleeper, you'll see people that will just jump into leagues with their profile picture as the logo of the team they like.
I'm
Big
in a
mistake, because I'm going to use that against you, for sure.
I'm in a league where I have I had a lot of Colts players, but it was also a league where there are a lot of Colts fans, so I don't have any Colts players anymore because I just sold them all and I could get really good values for them.
Don't let your personal opinions of players or. I mean, I could do that with Herbie. I don't buy Herbie, and in fact, I've sold more Justin Herbert than I have bought Justin Herbert because I've just gotten insane deals for him. Like, the one, which is crazy thinking about that in a Superflex league.
So your worst league, that was the one where you invested completely in every single Chargers player, right?
Maybe.
Avery is case in point. The Chargers are his second favorite team next to the Colts.
I didn't do that because it was the Chargers.
No, you didn't do it because it was the Chargers.
I did it to try. I wanted to try like a quadruple stack.
He tried the stack theory.
I just wanted.
Which is completely merited.
I did it for research.
I understand that. Yes.
I learned a lot.
You learned a lot, but that is the point.
If you trade for stacks, then you just destroy your dynasty team.
There will be people in your leagues that try the stack theory because they're either newer at playing dynasty or they just won't give up on the stack theory. Try it. Just try it. That's all we're saying with KeepTradeCut. You're going to get some people that when you offer them KeepTradeCut trade offers, they're going to be ticked. They're going to be like, come on, man. And you'll be like, yo, I'm just throwing out a feeler. This is what KeepTradeCut says they're valued at. I don't think it's that value at all, but I was just trying to see if someone would accept it. And you will have a 20% hit rate. I sent out ridiculous Trey Lance offers in all of my leagues. One of them hit, but that one hit. And it was a ridiculous value deal.
The best way to do this is just going to be to send out a bunch of trade offers. Yeah. This one says
stay active.
I need to stop using Justin Herbert as an example, but Justin Herbert, I think the reason he keeps Trevor Lawrence. This says Isaiah Pacheco, Breece Hall, and Cade Otton put together. The package is more valuable than Trevor Lawrence.
Kidding me.
In a Superflex league.
No,
this is the gold standard, guys. This is the gold standard. Gold standard, my butt. What in the world? I mean, that is horrible. By any stretch of the imagination, that is not acceptable.
Yep.
And you can, you're just taking advantage of, First of all, people are like, oh, you use KeepTradeCut against people. That's why it's so good. I'm like, that doesn't make it good. It's not being used what it was intended for. When you use KeepTradeCut for what it was intended for, it's actually bad. The the rankings are one thing. That is actually, you can still look at market value. But the trade calculator should take into account market value and tell you what's fair and what's not by market value standards. This is not fair by market value standards in anyone's book. Nobody's making this trade. Nobody. But if you find somebody that will, do it. Look, you're going to get on your league mates' nerves because you're sending them out so many stupid trade offers. But you know what? I'm gonna just put together the biggest crap I can. I'm gonna do Isaiah Pacheco.
Let's do all the running backs that have no draft capital.
Greg Dulcich, Brian Robinson.
Considering I got Mike Williams for Greg Dulcich,
because a lot of times you can throw together these.
Dude, Greg Dulcich is the tight end 9.
That is ridiculous.
In Dynasty right now.
I love Greg Dulcich.
I do really like Greg Dulcich a lot. I guess tight end 9 isn't really saying that much since there's only 6 relevant tight ends.
Pacheco, Brian Robinson. Who's the other running back with no draft capital?
Algier.
Thank you. And Damian Pierce.
And Damian Pierce.
And then I put Dulcich in there. And even just for fun, throw Daniel Bellinger in there.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Oh my gosh.
Do McBride instead of Bellinger.
All right, let's look at players to even trade. It doesn't even have them. There's too many pieces, I think. Let's add Jamar Chase.
Oh, it's a fair trade.
No shot.
It's a fair trade.
Yeah, but it has the other side winning still.
Oh, wait, who am I? I'm missing one of the players then.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm missing Algier. It has the other side winning. So if you gave up Tyler Algier, Greg Dulcich, Brian Robinson, Damian Pierce, Daniel Bellinger, and Isaiah Pacheco, you're technically,
if you have somebody that's using KeepTradeCut as gospel, you can give them this against Jamar Chase. A lot of times that's another way to use this against people, and I think that's going to be our final highlight here, is that you can package together garbage.
He did this with Patrick Mahomes.
I did do this with Patrick Mahomes. It worked. What was the full trade? It was
I think it was
Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes straight up for Davis Mills.
That's right.
Miles Sanders.
Like
Corey Davis, and maybe one first.
It was the 101, I think.
I don't think it was the 101.
I think it was.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it was last year's 101.
So I guess Breece Hall.
But still.
Oh my goodness. I should pull that up. We have time. I'm going to pull it up and find it.
It's a perfect example though. I was playing with somebody who
was new in Dynasty.
Was new.
I'm sure
they're using KeepTradeCut. Like, man, I'm telling you, you think this stuff doesn't happen? It absolutely does. In every Dynasty league, not in my home league. Well, yeah, you and your home league are geniuses. We know that. But and if you don't just play in home leagues, you've got people that are going to be newer to Dynasty that aren't going to know. And part of what we like to do is help those people out. I mean, we like to get people on our Discord, and the best way to fight through this, by the way, is to ask a bunch of people you trust about trades before you make them.
Yeah, we're not trying to act like we are high and mighty and above everyone else in playing Dynasty, because I know you think you are. But again, like
I was joking.
I know. I was messing with you too. We've been those idiots before. We have. I continue to make bad trades. There are trades.
He's a super idiot.
There are trades that I think I've made recently that are good, that are probably going to bite me in the butt in 6 months. They just are. And part of that is shooting your shot. So don't be afraid to make trades also. Like if something matches on KeepTradeCut where you think you're winning a deal and it matches on KeepTradeCut and you're like, oh, I shouldn't do it because it matches KeepTradeCut. Don't be that person. Like don't back out just because a trade calculator thinks you're just because a trade calculator
Did you find the trade?
Winning it. Yeah, it was Corey Davis, Miles Sanders, Davis Mills, Jerkowski's first, which I do not think was the 101 because I remember in the startup draft you had gotten the 101 in the startup draft, and it wasn't your first. And then you paid a 23 first, and then like 2/3. So, yeah, Patrick Mahomes, easy. Yeah, it was not the 101. So,
oh my gosh.
So that's that.
All right, let's wrap it up. Use KeepTradeCut against people, even if you do not think people will do it. Send out trades. The best way to get ahead in Dynasty is to send out a bunch of trades. It's a grind. Just send a trade off out in your league every single day. I try to do that. I try to send out a trade offer a day. And I'm in a lot of leagues, so it ends up covering it. But I made multiple deals last week just because I went out and sent out random offers and ended up getting some nice deals, in my opinion.
Quick trade alert. Simon got offered Drake London, the 103 and the 108. He has to send Justin Herbert. I'm taking Herbert.
Oh,
I'm taking Herbert.
That's
no
Herbert
question.
easy.
Yeah,
So
Herbert.
let's
Herbert
type it into KeepTradeCut real quick. So it's Herbert, right?
Most people have already left.
I'm
this
sure
video.
this is even on.
This
Yeah,
is
I know.
bonus content.
103.
They're not going to know about.
108. And who?
Drake London.
No way.
Yeah.
That side is killing Justin Herbert in KeepTradeCut.
Killing Herbert.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
103, the 108, and Drake London.
And honestly, with Herbert's value right now falling a lot because of his disappointing season, like I think a lot of people would take the London 103 and 108 side.
I think anything is close. Like, I don't think it's a blowout.
No, it's not. It's not a blowout, not at all. But
right.
that's what KeepTradeCut's saying. It's a blowout. So
KeepTradeCut. It's great when you use it against people. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We've got all kinds of Dynasty content coming out this entire offseason, so we'd love it if you would subscribe and support the channel. Make sure you
Yes, we
also head over to our locals page. That's where you get access to our Discord. We're answering trade questions, releasing our ADP data there, doing mock drafts, opening listener leagues. We've got open spots in our listener leagues right now, so make sure you jump over there as well. That's where you're going to find all of our exclusive content. As always, really appreciate you watching the video, especially if you made it this far. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you later.